So a few of you guys have been asking me, how do I manage to snipe successfully in close quarters? Because you've seen my gameplays or whatever, and you guys have seen that I always snipe in close quarters and stuff like that. Well, yeah, man, I mean, that's true. I do like to snipe in close quarters. I do like to snipe all the time in conquest and small maps and whatever, man, in domination, team deathmatch, and small game modes. But the thing that I always say first is you have to define what successfully in close quarters mean. How to snipe successfully in close quarters, what does that mean? What do you mean by successfully? Alright, and here's what I call successfully sniping in close quarters. It's not getting the best KD. It's holding your team, man. It's carrying your team. That is what successful sniping is. It doesn't matter if you get a bunch of kills, but if you are actually holding over your team, you're carrying your team, and you're actually getting a lot of objectives, you guys are playing the objective and you guys are winning, you guys are having a comeback because of your sniping, maybe it has like a big portion to do with it. That is successful sniping. So I'm going to show you guys how I do that. Alright, it's actually not too easy. It does take a lot of practice, but I'm going to show you guys exactly what I do, so definitely stay tuned for that. So in order to kickstart this, I want to say, if you guys want to learn exactly how I do it, right, and do this exactly how I do it, and it is successful how I do it, I have to say. Usually I go into games about 9 times out of 10 that I try sniping in close quarters, I come out successful. So if you want to do this the way I do it, you're going to need to go get you a cinch controller and a pair of control freaks, both of which together will help out even out the odds. Now, you don't absolutely have to go get yourself these do cost money, but I definitely recommend them. But if you don't have them, if you don't want to pay for them, don't worry, dude, you can still beast with a sniper at close range. But if you do want to, go get you a cinch controller, go get you a pair of control freaks if you don't already have one. At cinchgaming.com, you can actually get a discount. G-Legend, make sure you check that out. Description, man. Anyway, moving on to the steps. I'm gonna actually save the most important tip for the last, right? Because you can't do anything I'm about to tell you without knowing the final step in the process, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But first, you want to pick your ideal sniper. Now, before you click off this video, I want to make sure that you understand that the infantry and the trench variant, if you're a noob, is the best because they don't have scopes. Now, I like using a scope because it's more fulfilling, it's funner, but I do have to say the infantry or the trench variants of snipers are the best for newbies at close range, especially the trench more than the infantry. The trench is better because they're faster, bolt action is faster than with the infantry, man. So, you know, the very first sniper is the one that I recommend most, even though the damage is sort of low. It might be lower than other snipers, but it does have a much faster fire rate, which you will need for sniping in small maps and in close quarters. You need to do this fast, like you need speed. So I use this one mostly, though I do change to a scope once in a while. Definitely, you know, pick something. I definitely recommend that one, though. So now that you got your primary sniper out of the way, number 2, you're going to want to make sure you pick your favorite sidearm and grenade as well. The sidearm and your grenade will save you many times when you're trying to rush with a sniper, so it's extremely important that you pick your favorite. I like the incendiary grenade best because it can help you, you know, clear out rooms and kind of smoke you away from enemies that are overwhelming. But then again, the smoke grenade might help you do that as well. So definitely pick your favorite, man. It's up to you completely. I can't tell you what you like. You know what you like better than I do. So moving on, number 3, step 3. Go into your settings and change the color of your crosshairs to a bright one. Right? If you can see on screen, you can see that my crosshairs are a bright purplish color, right? And I did that on purpose because I need to see the crosshairs. You need to see the crosshairs too if you're trying to snipe in a small map. You have to see the crosshairs. Definitely make sure that you do change the color to make it some bright color. This is extremely important. So once you change the color of your crosshairs to something that you can easily see, a bright color, you're ready to get into the battle. So number 4, if you choose to use an infantry rifle, which you should, or maybe a trench rifle if you don't have experience, but if you do choose to use one, then there's nothing you need to keep in mind in terms of playstyle. You can go all in, but if you're using a scoped weapon, you need to be strategic in your positioning and in your moving, because with a scoped weapon, it is harder to land shots and it is harder to actually get multiple shots on target. Usually at close range, you need to hit somebody 2 times. Mostly, as somebody with 100 life points, you have to hit them twice. And the sniper is with the scope, they're usually too slow. they're too slow. You usually get shot by after the first shot. You get like one shot in, so you have to be strategic in your positioning so that you have the advantage and you can actually land 2 shots. So you want to make sure that you stay, towards the outside of the map if you can, or it's definitely up to you. I like to stay on the outside of the map, but that's my strategic positioning. That's what works for me. You try what works for you. Definitely try that one though if you want. So, my dude, do you remember when I told you earlier, like 5 minutes ago, I told you that the trick is actually going to be at the end? Here is the tip that you have to know in order to successfully snipe in close quarters in Battlefield 1, and that is to get your shots on target every time and to improve your reaction time. And I have a video on that. Click the top eye on the right, definitely click that. But dude, the thing is that because there's this thing called the sweet spot that makes it extremely hard to quickscope like if it were COD, right? And I actually talk about that in other videos, so I would, if I were you, man, I would subscribe, right? But, dude, so in order to get kills, you have to hit your target 2 times back to back quickly while being fired at. So how do you do that, right? It is a 2-step process to do that. The first one, and probably the most important one, is to use your crosshairs as a reference where your bullet will land. It's easier to quickscope and land the shot after sprinting than when you're actually stationary because of the crosshairs, because of how they look when you're sprinting and how they look when you're just stationary. When you're sprinting, you have this great advantage because the crosshairs are so like pinpoint. They'll tell you exactly where your bullet will land. So make sure that crosshair is eye level. Of course, it needs to be eye level at all times, and you need to make sure that you know where it is at all times as well. Make sure you can see it clearly. I definitely recommend that you do that. Something that I used to do when I was back like a newbie. If you need to, cut out some tape. I got some double-sided tape and I cut it out and made it into a little ball and put it right where that crosshair was so that I could always see right in the middle of the screen. So aim down sights and right in the middle of the screen where that crosshair is, make sure you tape it on the monitor or on your TV, whatever you have, so that you can easily see the middle of the screen at all times. And that way it's easier to aim when you need to quickscope. But that's a little cheaty kind of thing. Like, it works, but you don't have to do that. And then the second thing that you have to do, and this is what I do a lot, you have to practice a lot. Alright, I practice 5 to 10 hours daily of quickscoping just so that I can always do it easily. 5 to 10 hours that I set out of my day. I take it out of my day to sit down and game and just figure this shit out and not lose my touch, not lose my skill. And when I have like videos to make like this one, it's at least 3 hours at least, but usually it's 5 to 10, man, every single day. It's a habit, and you have to make it a habit too. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more daily Battlefield 1 content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.